Okay, I'll go ahead and call our special meeting to order. It's Friday, June 27th. It's now 9:01 a.m. If we could all stand for the pledge. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Jenna, if you can call roll.
Magistrate Coldarn.
Present.
Magistrate Riley.
Present.
Judge Chuck Dills.
Present. Here's Roger Humphrey's the only one that's absent. Moving down to item 4, approval of the regular meeting minutes of June 17th and the public hearing minutes of June 17th, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of June 17th, 2025, and public hearing minutes of June 17th, 2025.
I will second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Kodar and second by Magistrate Riley. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor. Motion carries. Moving down to fiscal matters. Item A is approval of the claims on the general fund, the road fund, jail fund, along with all transfers presented dated June 27, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the claims this morning against the general fund, road fund, and jail fund, along with the transfers presented dated June 27, 2025.
I second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Riley, a second by Magistrate Kodar, and all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor. Motion carries. Moving down to item B, which is what we're here mainly for, is the second reading of ordinance number 0005-2025-0288. It's the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 005-2025-0288, fiscal year 2025-26 budget.
I second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Riley, a second by Magistrate Kodar. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
It appears all in favor. Motion carries. And this was, first reading was done, advertised in the newspaper to the public, and then this is our second reading. So this will be advertised, the second reading of the final budget, in not next week's paper, it's probably the week after's paper. So, moving down to approve the salaries for employees of the Grant County Fiscal Court, along with the Road Department, Sheriff's Office, and the Detention Center.
I make a motion to approve the salaries for employees of the Grant County Fiscal Court, along with the Road Department, Sheriff's Office, and the Detention Center, as presented.
I will second.
Motion made by Magistrate Kodar, second by Magistrate Riley. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor. Motion carries. And then moving down, I added this on after looking at the calendar. With us having a meeting today, paying out the claims at the end of the fiscal year, July 1st is going to be next Tuesday. We will not have any claims. Plus, the first couple days of each month is always difficult because we don't have any new claims coming in until about the 4th or 5th of the month. So I'm asking the court if it's all right to make a motion to move our July 1st regular meeting to July 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. here in the courtroom.
I do not see any issue with that. Is that
Are you okay, Shauna?
I'm
verifying?
checking. You're verifying. I haven't
Okay.
put anything in the last few seconds here. Okay, so 6.
So will
Okay.
will that be a special meeting then?
It'd be classified as a special
okay,
meeting,
yeah.
but it'd be moved
Or,
to a regular meeting.
It'd be classified special, but
Yes.
Do you have issues?
no, I'm fine.
Okay, I make a motion to move our regular fiscal court meeting from Tuesday, July 1st to July 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the courthouse. That will serve as a special meeting due to the fact that we will have a back-to-back meeting as of today, if we do not move such.
I second.
A motion made by Magistrate Riley, second by Magistrate Codarn. All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor, motion carries. Moving down to the last thing we have on the agenda, just reminding everyone our next meeting, now that was approved, will be Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, until called by chair. The meeting will be held at the courtroom at 6 p.m. Need a motion to adjourn.
Go ahead.
Judge, I wanted to ask, did you want to make any general comment about the budget and the positive financial progress that we're making and the commitment to revisit, the county budget,
Yeah,
every
just
quarter?
that,
I just wanted to make that known to the public.
Yeah, a lot of work went into the budget trying to do it, and I know that Peggy's put a lot of time into to get it, and we're actually financially in good shape with the views of revisiting this in January, looking at employee raises, and also looking at trying to dial back the payroll tax, and that's one of the major focuses I know the managers, myself, are focused on, is trying to dial back the payroll tax. So we've balanced this budget. It looks like the revenues seem to be very solid, and that's the views that, we've had looking over the budgets. You agree, Peggy, that?
Yeah. And
So-
Judge, I just wanted to make one public acknowledgement on the current jail administration under Tanya Beagle and others. From an occupancy standpoint, it's probably been how many years since it has been that occupied with paying inmates, which is drastically helping the financial disposition of this county. And so, Debbie, I know you're giving me that look like, what do you mean by paying inmates? So having contracts with other counties, of which means the occupancy is up, which then equally means general fund tax dollars to the magnitude that it has cost in the past isn't as high. And so as that work continues and the operations there, that is directly making a positive impact to the financial disposition. And so I just wanted to acknowledge.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that
Yes.
up. And I apologize I even left that out, but yes.
It's huge.
It is.
And we're monitoring, and I speak to Tanya quite often, and I commend the staff at the jail, what they're doing, because it's making a great positive financial impact to our general fund, so, with these contracts. And as with Dennis, our sheriff's office, great job, road departments, the detention center, our parks. I can't commend everyone enough for the work they've done. So, hopefully when we sit and revisit this in January, we can
Yes.
have a whole different outlook, as it appears that we're going to have a good year.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead and you can come up here.
oh. Okay.
No, I just had a couple more questions. So with the jail is like a third of the budget this time, basically, because the overall budget's like 22 million, and then the jail is 7 million.
Well,
There's a lot of pass-through.
there's a lot of pass-through in that budget. You're talking like 1.5 of the Heritage Trail, that's seeing
Yeah,
that 20, and it sort of is really deceptive on that point, on those major grants that you might anticipate having that you don't get. So you
That's
really
usually, that's more in the general fund of it, the 9 million part of it, the pass-throughs.
Well, and also in the jail fund, there's quite a few pass-throughs with the substance abuse program.
Right.
Yeah,
But like I said, the thing is, I'm not an accountant. I hate when people say I'm not but I'm not. You give me an analytical geometry and calculus class, and I'm a happy camper. You give me an accounting class, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I just kind of look at the things in layman's terms, and I appreciate you guys, clarifying and everything. But But I was just, that, you guys feel confident that you won't have I know that with DOC, there's a lag between DOC paying and payroll. So a lot of times you have to have the interdepartmental transfers and stuff.
Sure.
Waiting on a check,
I understand
yes.
that, but I know some of that is more than that. So you guys feel confident that that's not going to be happening this next year, pretty much?
Oh, I think you'll see the transfers because the transfers are built in the budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a
local
line item
general
that
tax.
accounts for transfers is what.
For interdepartmental transfers.
So you'll still have those. There's no way to avoid that because
Well, I know like DOC, I understand that, and I know that that's pretty much built into it, but I was just things that are over and above that. I just,
I
was-
think what you
Yes.
could expect to see is that the general fund transfer amount, as you have more contracted inmates with other counties, our local general fund tax monies transferring in will be less.
right. And that's basically what my question is, can we see that go down?
Yes.
Do you expect that to go down? So
Yes.
it might, yeah, it will go down, but there's only a certain level that it's going to go down.
Well,
There's a
and-
minimum.
What also helps or eliminates a little bit of the amount of transfers or the contracts
Right.
with the other counties, because now we have different sources that revenue's coming from at different times. So I know we've noticed that on
Got
our,
Gallatin County and then more recently Pendleton.
Right.
Yes.
Especially as we shift the makeup of just state.
But that goes into the
taxes.
jail fund, right, as a revenue?
Yes, it goes directly into.
Right, okay. And then one other question I had was the opioid fund. I know last year you guys used that for
Yes.
the jail.
that's
Yes.
Do
correct.
you expect to do that again this year?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Good.
built into the budget, and it's actually, if you look at our budget that we put out, it shows the opiate funds, how they're being utilized.
Yeah, because I was just kind of, I think a lot of folks kind of expected that to be handled more like for, the folks that are addicted, for addiction services and things like that. They expected it to be going more for the general
Population?
county. Yeah, the general county for like the kiosks and things like that for people that are in that are addicted and trying to get out of addiction to help them do that instead of going directly toward the jail.
Well, it's sort of two parts. The state receives 50% of that opiate fund, counties receive the other 50%.
And the cities receive
So-
some too.
Talking to other counties that do not have jails, for example, we've got Pendleton County, Gallatin County inmates in our jail, most all their inmates. They're receiving those opiate funds, and they're actually having a difficult time trying to utilize those funds per the restricted use of them within their county. Now, a lot of the sort of rehab centers that are located are putting in for the state grant money. That other 50% that's held on the opiate funds, that's where a lot of like the ARC and these drug rehab centers are receiving their monies. But I mean, right now we currently don't have a drug rehab center in Grant County. There's none located here, so we do have quite a few Grant County inmates here that are receiving that treatment through substance abuse program within the jail, which.
Yeah, I just kind of think that from what I read originally, and like I said, I'm not an expert or anything on like this, and this is why I ask you guys questions.
Sure.
But it just seemed like that, like because we don't have like a rehab program or anything like that, I know there's different like civic groups and stuff that do that, that might be able to, benefit from those funds for the county itself, for the county at large. So that was why I was asking the question, because I know some other places, that's what they use it for, is those kind of things, and maybe use some of ours to kind of maybe entice some kind of a rehab to come in or whatever, because we do have an issue.
I'll be honest, Debbie, the only request I've had, unless the managers have, for our opiate funds was from the Grant County News, and it's for about $5,500 for advertisement of it.
Oh,
And
I didn't do that.
see that was, no, but I didn't
What are
see
they
that
advertising?
that was, I could legally do that, but that wasn't benefiting the public by advertising and spending that kind of money in the newspaper
Right.
with opiate funds.
Yeah, like I
But
said-
that's the only request I've received from anyone
Right.
for opiate funds for any sort of programming.
Well, in the
I think,
current
too, a lot-
programming we have is top-notch, and so why go out, because those repeat offenders are local Great Countyans, they're directly benefiting from,
Well, I know sometimes some places use it for like prevention. They use it like to go into the schools and use it. There's a Operation Parent from Oldham County. They use that, and they actually have a field day that they use, and it's aimed at youth to teach them, not to, what are the real reality of opioids, reality of drugs, and then to try to do that. So that was why I was asking, because
I mean,
I was
that
just,
could be something next year that we could look at. Like, that, to me, is something that makes sense with an existing structure, current school resource officers that we have, and programming that maybe Dennis may look into from a budgeting perspective.
right.
And
But to confirm, all of that money in this current budget we just approved is dedicated to
Substance ab-
activities at the Grant County Detention
Right.
Center.
Yeah, is it still paying for, 2 positions?
Yep.
Right, okay.
Yeah, 3 positions.
Three positions.
Three,
I
okay.
thought it was-
But no, it's been 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been 3.
And
And
this-
another thing you got to consider on that, the different type of organizations that you are discussing have the same ability to go get that money directly from opioid instead of coming to the court. Not that the court,
Portion.
we haven't had anybody, but they can achieve those funds to do those type of things if there's a champion organization in the county that would want to do that.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is a lot of them don't realize what's there. They don't understand that, that it's there, that they could ask for it.
Right.
So.
And to be honest with you, we sometimes don't know all the things that they.
Right, that's, there's all kind of working parts.
The
and
hunt and
everything.
seek situation.
Right, right.
Yeah, because it's definitely restricted funds. I
Yes.
mean,
Oh,
it's-
definitely, yeah, yeah.
Statute's pretty clear on what you can and
Yeah,
can't do.
they've got it tightened down to where
Yes.
that's what they want it for. All righty, well, thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Dennis.
So I just wanted to get some clarification on the annual order setting max salaries for deputies and assistants that I presented to you guys on January, and then it was approved, and then since then, it's my understanding that the budget that was approved in January is now lower, and you yourself said that we're doing better now 6 months later. So I'm just kind of wondering if you could clarify, when you approve that order in January, how does it get changed?
Well, the order is just approving the maximum salary. That's the maximum salaries you can make during that calendar year. Is that what you're referring to, the maximum salary?
Yeah, the annual, set in
Yeah.
max salaries for deputies.
Yeah, that's the overall, that's not individual salaries, that's the overall amount, approving that you can't spend any more than that.
Right, and my question is, so it was approved in January for a certain amount, and now it's my understanding that that amount is lower. So I'm just wanting to know.
Well, actually, the maximum salary's always been approved at a larger amount than the budget in case you ever had something that you changed salaries within the calendar year and you wouldn't have to re-amend the maximum salary. Yeah, what you're talking about in January that was approved for the Department of Revenue and Department of Local Government was strictly the cap on the deputy salary, that you could not pay him more than that. We would have to amend that maximum salary for you to be able to pay the salaries more. So that's always been, I mean, even when I was sheriff, that thing was always several thousands, a lot, well, probably 10, 20,000, a lot of times more than what our salaries were for that calendar year. We just put it in as a safeguard that guaranteed that we wouldn't spend any more than that. If we did, we're in violation of the law. So that's not, I don't know if that's answering your question. I don't think it is.
I mean,
That's-
it's just, I just wanted to clarify how it was approved in January, and then the amount got lowered. So, I mean, I guess it
Well, and that
does.
was in calendar year, and this is fiscal year.
Yeah.
And I would say, out of respect of, transitioning to a new position, we could, that point could easily be clarified because of statute versus that. It's always been described to us, administrative process in January.
It's statutory, it has to be.
Right.
Right, and,
Yes.
and that you have to do that, but that it's the fiscal year budget that's the end-all, be-all. But maybe we should get some language, like an email, from Keiko or something, because I could see where it is confusing, but it should be black and white as to one versus the other.
Right. And it is confusing, but it's based on, that's what the fiscal court and the sheriff, well, actually, you're the one that puts in for the maximum salary, then we approve it, that at no time during that calendar year can you spend more than that money. If so, you're in violation of the law. So that's the purpose of the whole thing. That's why it's always inflated a little bit, just because of an incentive or something like the incentive pay changes, then it could put you in violation of law if we don't amend that maximum salary.
Okay.
So,
Is also that, Chuck, related more to budgets too, that the jail is separate from the general fund? Does it have anything to do with that too?
no,
Didn't-
no, this strictly because the sheriff's office, just like the county clerk does the same thing. You're all technically fee offices. The only difference with the sheriff's office now is that we fee pool with the sheriff's office instead of you operating off your fees.
Okay. All right.
But I'll be glad to sit down and go over all of it with you in detail, because it is hard to understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Had it in my notes, it was too far back. Were there no raises given in this salary?
No, not until we're going to revisit in January.
We
There
did
were some.
road department.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
I'm sorry. The road department fund was, because we hadn't actually fixed the road department in several years where it needed to be. They were still down low. There was a readjustment after Colton Simpson left for his duties within our office to pay the staff there to take over his duties as the payroll tax, occupational licensing, and all that, instead of hiring someone right now.
His
So there's no
position is
plan
not
to-
being backfilled.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, his position's not being backfilled this time.
Okay, that was another question I had been meaning to ask since he had moved over there.
Yes.
Okay, so the road department did get some. The readjustment after Colton left was kind of spread around to the folks there in the office?
Yes, to take over his duties, which was a whole lot cheaper than backfilling an employee.
Right, right. And then, so the rest of the government, though, didn't get any raises, and that'll be revisited in January?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. All right.
Yeah, and the one thing on the road department is, was a idea, just like we had did at the jail, to bring up the standard of pay to draw better the employees, because they would, not better employees, I don't mean it that way, but to draw, a workforce,
And,
because
the road department's also unique. They don't operate off of any of our general fund.
No.
That's
Operate-
that
Yes.
was the question I had meant to ask as well. All of the funding in the road department is federal and state funding, right? There's
That's
nothing
all
from
state
the-
yeah,
funded.
your CRA fund.
And we're fortunate that we're able to operate at the level we do with those funds alone, because there's a lot of counties that contribute general fund dollars into the road department.
So the $4 million of the road fund is from federal and state monies?
Yes,
No.
and the reason, since you brought that up, the reason that the road department was actually, appears to be inflated from the previous year, obviously it wasn't on the couple dollar raise, it was actually on the bridge monies and the road monies that we've put in for to get approval.
Right.
So, and that's all passed through,
Okay, thank you.
okay? Anyone else? If not, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I second.
Have a motion made by Magistrate Riley, second by Magistrate Codar, all in favor saying aye.
Aye.
We're now adjourned. Thank you, and we'll see everyone July 8th.